All right, so it's Friday morning, the day before UFC 315, the day that the fighters all step on the scale, and 3 fighters have struggled to make weight. 3 fighters have indeed missed weight. 1 fight has been changed. They've changed the weight class completely, but fortunately, not the main event or the co-main event. Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena, that's still going to go ahead. Ian Gary will not be required to step in as the backup. And Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot, that's still going ahead as well. So, what am I talking about? Who has missed weight? Well, first of all, we're talking about Jose Aldo, the king of Rio, one of the kings of the featherweight division. And he's going from bantamweight back to the featherweight division because last night, Thursday night at 9 p.m., he was still 9 pounds over. And the doctor said, no, that's it. Let's cut this. It is unsafe for you to make weight. Now, I've got some thoughts on that in just a second. And I have tremendous respect for Jose Aldo, but it's never a good thing when fighters miss weight. So anyway, let's have a look at the story here. It says, former UFC and WEC champ was scheduled to face Ayman Zahabi in a bantamweight bout on Saturday's 315 main card. However, moments before Aldo stepped on the scale at Friday's official weigh-ins, officials announced that Jose Aldo's bout will now be contested at 145 pounds. So let's have a look at the actual weigh-in scenario here. Now here,
Jose Aldo and Ayman Zahabi will now be contested as a featherweight. So to that end, weighing in right now is the UFC Hall of Famer former UFC scale. This is opponent, the 15th ranked UFC featherweight, Jose Aldo featherweight tomorrow night, Ayman Zahabi.
Yep, so 143 for Jose Aldo, 142 for Ayman Zahabi. That's about it. That's all we need to see on that. So, all right, there's 2 other fighters that have missed weight. We'll get to that in a second. Now, I do want to say this, and I'm not trying to shit on Jose Aldo. I've got so much respect for that guy, the career that he's had, and the fact that he's still fighting at the highest level. But when I was making weight, and I never miss weight, by the way, but when I was making weight, I would always do my weight cut, or I would start my hard weight cut on the Thursday night. And I would do it as late as possible because you don't want to be in that dehydrated state for too long. You want to keep that dehydrated state in the shortest window possible. So typically I would turn up at fight week at about 200 pounds. I would water load and stuff. And then come Thursday afternoon, I would cut out the water completely. And then come Thursday night, I'd have about 12 pounds to cut. And the first part of the wake up would be done Thursday night at about 11 p.m. I would start. We would finish at about 1 a.m. I would do hot baths. I would cover myself in sweet sweat. It was just a shit show. It's horrible. I don't miss those days, but I'd lose about 5 pounds. I'd go to bed and then I'd get up nice and early, about 6 in the morning, and we would do the second half of the weight cut. So I do find that a little intriguing. I'm not saying there's foul play. I'm not saying that Jose Aldo planned this. I'm not saying that, there's something more to this story, but I'm just saying, typically, when we used to do it, a lot of fighters used to start their weight cut late on a Thursday night, but they pulled him. The doctor stepped in and he said, no, we're not allowing that. So he goes up to 145 pounds. So Ayman Zahabi's coming lighter than Jose. And Jose, listen, the man's getting older. He's been around for a long time. And as you get older, making weight does get harder. As I said, the man's a legend. He's a stand-up guy. I don't think he's playing any funny games or anything like that. But it is a little unprofessional, shall we say. That's just the fact. Now, Ayman Zahabi's going to get a percentage of his purse. They haven't said exactly how much. I would guess 20%. Sometimes when it's really bad, they make it 30%. And sometimes the other fighter just refuses to take the fight. So fair play to Ayman Zahabi for playing ball and saying, yeah, screw it, let's go. He wants to compete in Montreal. He wants to compete in front of his hometown fans. And he wants to go up against a legend in Jose Aldo. So let's have a look at the rest of the story and see who else has been at this as well. All right, we're heading back to Canada this weekend for UFC 315. Belal Muhammad takes on Jack Della Maddalena, defending the welterweight title. It's going to be an incredible matchup, and don't forget, you can get in on the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. As I say, you just got to bet $5 to receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's when you download the DraftKings app and you use the code Bisping. You can then stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress fights right as they happen, making watching the fights that much more exciting. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, then don't worry, you can still join in on all of the fun with DraftKings Pick 6, where you have the shot to win cash prizes. So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers use the promo code Bisping, bet $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That is promo code Bisping only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's have a look. The top two fights, as we know, they're still gonna go ahead. Aldo wasn't the only one that had difficulties on the scale. Daniel Marcos weighed in above 145 on his first try, but he later returned successfully, hit the mark after stripping down while covered by a box. So basically, he had to get in his undies, or he had to get naked. He had to get naked, but middleweight Bruno Silva wasn't so lucky. He was the last fighter to show up in the official window. He came in at 187 pounds, 1 pound over the middleweight limit for a non-title fight. Of course, you get that pound leeway. You're allowed to be 186, not 185. So that fight's still going to go ahead, but he has missed weight. And again, Marc-Andre Barriault proceeds at catchweight with Phil Silva forfeiting 20% of the purse as a penalty. So if we see there, the actual full lineup there, Belal Muhammad and Jack, 170, they're professionals. Ian Machado Gary did weigh in 168 pounds. You got to think he just fought a couple of weeks ago, then he was staying lean. So the metabolism is firing, it's burning big. He easily made weight at 168. Shevchenko and Manafio. We've been through it all. We don't need to read them all out. Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Propelic. I think that's how you say it. 156. We're all good apart from them three. So that is a shame. And it is a bit of a tarnish on Jose Aldo's legendary career. It doesn't affect his legacy or anything like that. But for Bruno Silva, it's not good. I know he struggled to make weight before. I'm not sure off the top of my head if he has missed weight. I think he has. But he has lost his last three fights. And when you lose your last three fights, you're already in danger of getting cut out as it is. But then when you miss weight as well, that just creates more problems. So there is a lot of pressure on Bruno Silva this weekend. He is an exciting fighter. I do love watching him fight. He's very explosive, flying knees and all that stuff. Exciting style, as I said. But as I say, a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Now, we had the press conference yesterday. Not the most wild affair, and that's kind of what we expected. Jack Della Maddalena, of course, very confident. He said that no one's going to break me. Belal Muhammad, of course, he was very confident as well. But there was no argy-bargy. There was no back and forth. There was no screaming. There was no people getting out of the seats or anything like that. Jack and Belal did have a little bit of a moment where, Dana had to get in there for just a quick second. But all in all, a pretty civilized affair. But with the people on this card, they don't need to talk shit. It's going to be a great fight. The co-main event is very, very intriguing as well. Manafio is very confident she's going to beat Valentina Shevchenko, but Shevchenko says, I'm a complete mixed martial artist. That alludes to the fact that she's going to go out there, she's going to use her wrestling, and that will be a problem for Manafio. But I do love watching her fight, and I am excited for that one. And I'm excited to watch the fans in Montreal. I fought in Canada multiple times. I fought at the Bell Centre when the UFC first went to Canada. I fought in Quebec. I fought in Toronto, and the Canadian fans, they really are some of the best in the world, right? They are so passionate about this sport. They are going to make a lot of noise. Main thing is, as I said, main and co-main are going ahead. Some weight misses, bit of a shame, but still the show does go on. Now, my day's going to go on. As you can see, I'm sitting here like this. I'm going to go for a morning run. The weather is beautiful outside. It's about 80 degrees already, and it's only 9:15 a.m. So wherever you are in the world, thanks for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. I'll be doing some more members videos later today as well. So subscribe to the membership program if you haven't done that and you want to see some sneak peeks, some exclusive content. You want to see me and Callum doing our little private podcast for the members only, where we review all the fights. Anyway, I got to go get my run on because if I don't do it soon, I ain't going to do it. You guys take care. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.